Hi guys, the Lazy Gamer here, and today I want to delve into my first impressions of the newly released Dayz Standalone. I've been playing the Dayz mod for well over a year now, and I'm excited that Rocket is finally making progress on a public standalone that we can finally access. So let's not waste any more time and move on to the new features of the mod. So first and right off the bat, you can see the menu system has had much apparent changes. We have 5 options here, and it's much more simplified than the menu system for Arma 208. We have the play button, which when you click will spawn you in the last server you joined. We have the character button, which when you look here you can see that you can change the default clothing that you're wearing when you die and respawn, and it also allows you to change whether or not you spawn in as a male or female. You have the change server button, which currently I am using to spawn into a 24/7 day server so I don't have to deal with the night. And finally, we have the configuring settings buttons, which are much more simplified than in the Dayz mod, especially when you look at the amount of key inputs, which are reduced tremendously, whereas in Arma 208 there were hundreds of key assignments. Now I'm going to go back into the play button to join the previous server I was in. Okay, so moving on to the gear system, it is also much more improved. Now we can access gear through different compartments of our backpacks and clothing and vests. As you can see here, I keep my pistol in my hoodie, food and drink in my vest, ammo in my jeans, and then I also keep my miscellaneous supplies in my backpack. These features are also way easier to fiddle with than in the mods interface. At the top of the screen you can see my clothing, which I've been gathering around to create a red and blue outfit, even if it does stick out like a sore thumb. It's much more fun to create these outfits than in the mod, where all you had to do was find one piece of clothing like a ghillie suit or camo clothing, and then you were done. This time around it's much more difficult and it's much more satisfying to create an outfit. If you look towards the bottom of the screen, you can see what I believe is the best new feature of this release. The new hotkey bar is much easier and much quicker to use, and it allows you to switch from melee to firearm to sidearm to food and drink and medical supplies without having to move much. It also works while you're moving instead of having to stop, switch to your pistol, stuff like that. It makes it a much more streamlined experience, especially when you're dealing with confrontation and you're trying not to shoot. Again, on the right is the attachments to our weapon. As you can see, I have a standard butt and a standard grip to my gun, as well as a 20-round magazine. But I've also changed out, once I bring it up, my M4, I've changed out my M4's iron sights to make it more look like that of a Scar H, which I actually really like. I think it's much easier to aim with the Scar H sights. The amount of status effects have gone up a ton too. Just like in the mod, you're still going to get hungry, and you're still going to get thirsty, and you're going to need either food or drink to get rid of these effects. But it's much harder to keep these needs met. Water is a lot harder to come by if you're not near a well, and drinking one sip of water will not solve the problem like it did in the mod. If you consume too much water or too much food, you can get food poisoning, in which case you will vomit, and you'll need charcoal tablets to dispel the illness. You can get bruised feet if you're not wearing any shoes, and you can get a deadly infection from using a blood bag without a matching donor. You'll still go unconscious from taking too many hits from a zombie, and you'll still need antibiotics to get rid of an infection that you get. As you can see, my wounds were infected, which is why it says sick in my status effect bar. Normally, if I was thirsty or hungry, it would say so here. Overall, I found that the additional status effects have made it a much harder time to stay alive by yourself or in a group, as blood transfusions give you only 1/5 of the health this time around compared to all your 12,000 blood back like it was in the mod. Overall, I feel like the changes made to the standalone completely benefit the game. Obviously it's still a work in progress, but even if we were slowly moving towards the final product, this progress is still good. Thank you for listening, and please let me know what you think in the comments. And if you want to see more footage, especially of more gameplay rather than just reviews, of the Dayz Standalone, hit like or subscribe. Thank you very much for watching.